Have you ever spent hours studying for an exam only to forget everything the next day? Or maybe you've tried to learn a new skill, but it felt like your brain just wasn't cooperating. Trust me, I've been there. I used to think I was just bad at learning until I discovered the science-backed strategies that completely changed the game. Today, I'm going to share with you how to learn faster and retain more so you can stop wasting time and start mastering anything you set your mind to. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone who loves to grow, these tips will help you unlock your brain's full potential. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to absorb knowledge quickly, remember it longer, and actually use it in real life. Let's dive in. Active recall, let's start with active. This is one of the most effective learning techniques out there. And here's why. Passively rereading your notes or watching a tutorial, you actively test yourself. Pause the book, pause the video, ask, "Did I just learn?" Forces your brain to retrieve the information, which strengthens your memory. Like giving your brain a workout. Here's how I use it. After reading a chapter or watching a lesson, I take out a blank sheet of paper and write down everything I remember. At first, it feels uncomfortable because your brain resists the effort. But that's the point. Struggling to recall information is what makes your memory stronger. Pro tip: combine active recall with flashcards. Apps like Anki or Quizlet are great for this. They force you to retrieve information repeatedly, which is key to long-term retention. The Pomodoro Technique next up. Pomodoro Technique. This is one of my personal favorites because it's so simple yet effective. Here's how it works. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Focus intensely on your task and then take a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. Why does this work? Our brains have a limited attention span. Research shows that most people can only maintain intense focus for about 20 to 30 minutes at a time. After that, your productivity drops and you start making more mistakes. I used to think I could push through and study for hours without break, but it end up exhausted and remember very little. The Pomodoro Technique keeps your brain fresh and focused. Plus, the short breaks give you a chance to recharge. Here's a bonus tip. During your breaks, do something completely unrelated to your task. Stretch, take a walk, or listen to music. This helps your brain reset and prepares you for the next round of focused work. Chunking. Now, let's talk about chunking. This is the process of breaking down complex information into smaller, manageable chunks. For example, if you're learning a new language, don't try to memorize 50 words at once. Focus on 5 to 10 words at a time. Our brains love patterns, and chunking helps you organize information in a way that's easier to process and remember. I remember when I was learning to code, I felt overwhelmed by all the new concepts. But once I started breaking everything into smaller chunks, it became so much easier. For example, instead of trying to learn an entire programming language in one go, I focused on mastering one function or concept at a time. Here's how you can apply chunking. Identify the key concepts or steps. Group related information together. Practice each chunk until you've mastered it before moving on to the next. This approach not only makes learning less overwhelming, but also helps you build a strong foundation. Sleep, the secret weapon for memory. Here's a tip that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful. When you sleep, your brain consolidates the information you've learned during the day. It's like hitting the save button on your progress. During sleep, your brain processes and organizes memories, transferring them from short-term to long-term storage. I used to pull all-nighters before exam, thinking I was getting more done. But the truth is, I was just sabotaging myself. Now I prioritize sleep, and I've noticed a huge difference in my ability to retain information. Here's how to make the most of sleep for learning. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Review your notes or material right before bed. This helps your brain process the information while you sleep. Avoid caffeine and screens before bedtime, as they can interfere with your sleep quality. Spaced repetition. Learn once, remember forever. Another strategy I swear by: spaced repetition. Instead of cramming all your studying into one session, spread it out over time. Review the material after a day, then a week, then a month. This helps move the information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. For example, if I'm learning new vocabulary, I'll review the words the next day, then a few days later, then a week later, and so on. This method has saved me so much time and stress. Here's how to get started with spaced repetition. Create flashcards or notes for the material you're learning. Review them at increasing intervals, e.g., 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, and 1 month. Focus more on the material you find difficult. This is where spaced repetition really shines. The 80-by-20 rule. Learn smarter, not harder. The 80-by-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, suggests that 80% of results come from just 20% of effort. This principle applies to many areas of life: business, productivity, and most importantly, learning. Instead of trying to learn everything at once, the key is to identify and focus on the most impactful 20%, the core information that delivers the biggest result. How to apply the 80-by-20 rule in learning? Identify the most crucial 20% of the material that gives you 80% of the value. Focus on mastering those key concepts first before diving into detail. Growth mindset. Believe in your ability to learn. Finally, let's talk about your mindset. Learning isn't just about technique. It's also about how you approach it. If you tell yourself, "I'm bad at this," or "I'll never get it," you're setting yourself up for failure. Instead, adopt a growth mindset. Believe that you can improve with effort and practice. I used to struggle with math because I convinced myself I wasn't a math person. But once I shifted my mindset and started seeing challenges as opportunities to grow, everything changed. I began to embrace mistakes as part of the learning process, and that made all the difference. Here's how to cultivate a growth mindset. Replace negative self-talk with positive affirmation. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I can't do this yet." Celebrate small wins and progress, no matter how small. Surround yourself with people who encourage and inspire you to grow. The importance of real-world application. Knowledge without application is like a book collecting dust on a shelf. No matter how much you study, if you don't apply what you learn, you'll forget it quick. Research shows that people forget up to 80% of new information within a week if they don't use it. This happens because the brain prioritizes practical and relevant experiences over passive learning. How to apply what you learn? Use it immediately, teach it to someone else, integrate learning into daily life, engage in hands-on learning photography with real-world application. Imagine you want to become a great photographer. Instead of watching hours of tutorials without action, grab your camera and start shooting every day. Experiment with lighting, angles, and different subjects. As you analyze your own work, you'll learn 10x faster than someone who only studies theory. The goal isn't just to collect knowledge, it's to use it to improve your life. So, what will you start applying today? Your brain is more powerful than you think, so let's recap. Use active recall instead of passive studying. Work smarter, not harder. Break it down to build it up. Sleep well and stay active for better memory. Learn once. Remember, forever focus on the most important 20%. Believe in your ability to learn. Apply what you learn in real life. The best part, anyone can learn fast. You just need to use the right technique. So which one of these are you going to try first? Let me know in the comment. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on learning, growth, and success. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.